Ohio State won the national championship last year, and everyone's talking about how much talent they had last year, and the $20 million roster was a fun headline for a lot of folks in the media. And we got one anonymous coach actually putting words to what we've said for a long time on this show. Check this out. This coach says, do they need to beat Michigan? Yeah, sure. But this program, funny, they misspelled program there. That's their fault, is at the very top of the sport because of the head coach, because of Ryan Day. Boom. Mic drop. Mic drop on that whole thing. We'll unpack that quote right now. Before we do that, though, I want to make sure y'all know this show, heck, that quote, brought to you by Athlon. Yes, Athlon Sports, but brought to you by our friends over at Roback, man. Roback, they have been with this show for a very long time. They've been with us for a very long time, and they are, I'll just say this, I think they're making the best athleisure kind of product for you in the market. Hoodies, polos, shirts. They got some Delta Performance pants, everyday shorts, whatever you need to get right this summer. Roback, they got you covered. And I keep highlighting this specifically in Ohio State segments for a reason. Y'all, they got a hoodie with the script Ohio on it. It looks nice. A little red joint looks nice with the script white Ohio. Go check that out at roback.com. Save yourself some money with code JD. Again, that's code JD, those two letters, RHOBACK.com, 20% off all performance polos, shorts, the sweet script Ohio hoodie. Go get that with code JD at roback.com. So just what I said, that anonymous assistant coach is saying Ryan Day is the reason why Ohio State is where they are right now in the world of college football. And the take that Ryan Day was born on third base, while it was kind of funny for social media and it was great for punchline culture and all that, we never really bought into that because it always felt like you're saying, well, yeah, that CEO is, in a good spot with his company because, look who's on his staff. Look at who's on his sales team. Look at who's in that personnel department. Well, why do you think that CEO has that staff? Because he assembled it himself. Why do you think Ryan Day has Jeremiah Smith on his roster, Will Howard on his roster last year, Julian Sayin on his roster this upcoming season? Because you went and recruited those guys. And so I understand the brand has a lot to do with it, but you still have to put the pieces in position to go win a national championship. Like Ohio State, we'll say this, when they lost to Michigan, think about how much harder Ryan Day's job got because of that loss. The external volume, you can use it for motivation, and Ohio State ultimately ended up doing that. But you think how difficult that was to get everybody back on the same page to go make a playoff run after you get the wind beat out of you from Michigan? That's tough to do. That's tough to refocus. And so, yes, of course, long-term, we've said this many, many times. If Ryan Day doesn't figure it out against Michigan, that will be his undoing. But from what I can gather, they were able to go win a national championship last year, yes, because of the talent, but in large part because of how Ryan Day put it all together. So let me say this. Ohio State right now is the favorite to win our national championship in 2025 when you check the odds in Las Vegas. If you agree with that or disagree with that, it doesn't really matter. Those are the odds. If they win another national championship this year, Ryan Day doing it for the second time in a row will be more impressive than when Kirby Smart did it. It's going to be a very, very tough day for the anti-Ryan Day crowd because I think the excuses that you had as to why you don't think he's one of the best coaches in the sport, all you have left is the Michigan argument. And at that point, who's to say Ryan Day and Ohio State don't beat Michigan this year? If they repeat and beat Michigan next year, there's nothing else left to say. 70-10 as a head coach right now. If they repeat, it'll be with a different quarterback. Remember, Kirby Smart did it with Stetson Bennett 2 years, but again, different quarterback. He'll have Will Howard and Julian Sayin as his quarterbacks, I'm assuming. Also, 2 new coordinators for Ryan Day. 101st returning production in college football. Georgia, when they did it, the second year they were 96th in returning production. So we're splitting hairs there, but the bottom line is it's not like Ohio State has a bunch more coming back than Georgia did that 1 year. Ryan Day at that point in time, if they repeat, the discussion for him being the best coach in college football, I think becomes very, very real. And I think it's very fair to say that it could be Ryan Day as the best coach in college football if he gets it done. But my frozen pizza take right now as we move into 2025, I think Julian Sayin is going to be real good. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Frozen pizza at 8 p.m. sitting in your freezer, it's appealing. Maybe if you're a DiGiorno fan, you'll pull the trigger and go put that in the oven. But the longer this thing goes, the further you get into the night, the better that thing looks, man. Like the confetti dropped in Atlanta. Cato and I were on the field when Ohio State won the national championship. And you think about Ohio State and what they can be in 2025. In that moment, you say, yeah, they can be a good team. Julian Sayin should be good. We'll see who's playing quarterback for them and stuff like that, what the roster looks like, all that. But as we get further and further into this, media days right over the horizon, fall camp around the corner, the season around the corner. As we get later, I'm like, hey, I think Ohio State's gonna have a real shot at this thing. Okay, and a big part of that, like I just said, Julian Sayin, I think, is going to be a dude. Offensive line around him, 3 or 5 dudes coming back. Pretty fair to say the best wide receiver room in America. In the spring game, he absolutely balled out. I've told you before, I love the way the guy's wired with him choosing to go to Ohio State once Nick Saban retired. I love the way he's wired. And so all that's to say, that paired with what Ryan Day is as a head coach, it's all in a spot now where it can come together. And so if Ohio State repeats, there's going to be this temptation to once again say, well, the talent at Ohio State, well, the brand power, well, all those things. No. At that point, yeah, Ohio State has got the talent in large part because of what Ryan Day has recruited. But Ryan Day put a culture in place that is at a championship level that elevated Ohio State with all these new faces on the staff, on the roster, to go get it done again. So let me make this very, very clear. Ryan Day is one of the best coaches in college football. If you didn't feel that way before, you should now after that national championship. But Ohio State didn't win in spite of Ryan Day. They won because of Ryan Day. And he's a chance now, I think, to drop the mic once again on the college football world if they get it done in 2025. So I love that anonymous coach came out and said that. I think they need to be said out loud by more people in the world of college football. But overall, man, just had to be said out loud. And I'm glad that it was said out loud.